Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? I hope you're doing well. This is actually take three for me. First one, I think I accidentally hit one of these buttons back here, and then the video shut off, went bye bye. I'm like, ah, no, I was in the middle of saying something, but oh well. And the last one, I was just like, yeah, nah, I'm not feeling this. So, take three. You know what I'm talking about. Chink. Yeah. Anyway. I don't even know if they still do that, but anyway. So I what I was talking about is what happened, what I've actually been going through for almost about the last, well, a little bit more than 24 hours. I will warn you, this can be a little bit graphic, so if you can't handle it, then feel free to walk away. All right. Um, Basically, it kind of started Monday, just before I left for work. I don't remember what I was doing. All I remember is I bent over for some reason. When I did, I kind of had some stuff come up a little bit, and it was of course nasty tasting, as those things usually are. But it's usually because it's coming up from her stomach. But in my case, it wasn't. It was actually coming up from my chest, and it was just like, what in the world was that? And it had like a chemical taste to it. It was like an old stale chemical taste. It was really really weird. So anyway, yeah, I went to work, of course, and it happened to me a couple more times when I was working. And then when I got home and I tried to sleep, and of course I had to be up early for a doctor's appointment yesterday morning, and I couldn't sleep. I was tossing and turning. I was just so hot, and I kept feeling like I kept trying to sweat something out of me. And I was just so hot, even though the AC is on like 71, and I had fan going and so on and so forth. I was just like, oh my gosh. I mean, I was just sweating or trying to sweat, and I couldn't. And I kept tossing and turning. And then after I got home and did my usual routines and so forth, I didn't do my yoga yesterday. I was just so tired from lack of sleep and everything. And I just was like, I just wanted to curl up and take a nap. But I knew I needed to eat first. So I ate my brunch. I don't eat breakfast really anymore. Breakfast and I do not get along. We haven't for years. So after I had my what I call my brunch, um, yeah, I was just started flying to the bathroom, being sick, and it was just like, oh my gosh, hopefully I've gotten out of me whatever, you know. I was like, okay. Well, I did curl up. I got kind of cold afterwards, and I was just and I hit it somewhere in there. I remember um, I had sent a message to somebody, a friend of mine, saying, "Gosh, I would just wish I could get this shit out of me." And and I laid down. I tried to get in some sleep, and again, tossing and turning, tossing and turning. But at least I was resting, you know. That was the main thing. I was resting, but I just kept tossing and turning. I finally got fed up, and I'm just like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and do what I need to do, get myself to work and so forth. So I got up. I actually cleaned Possum's box because she was due for that, and I took the stuff. I took it out to the trash, and I stopped, and my roommate was home, and we were talking and everything, and I'm standing there, and all of a sudden I just started sweating up a storm. I was just boiling hot. And yeah, I was standing there by the door or what have you, but it wasn't from the heat. Yeah, we were 109 degrees yesterday, but it wasn't the heat. This was internal, and it was just coming out of me. All this sweat was just pouring out of me, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. I went into the fridge. I grabbed one of my ice packs that I usually keep when I do work. I take my insulin with me and to help keep it cold. You know, I put in the cooler with some ice packs, and or those cold packs. I took one of those out. I had this big one. I took it out and I slapped it right here. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And I'm just sweating and sweating and sweating. And finally, I'm like, I gotta go lay down here for a minute. I lay down on the sofa and I'm like, I'm sweating and I'm so hot and hyperventilating. I start hyperventilating and everything. And it was just like, oh my gosh. I just wanted to go and crawl inside of a walk-in fridge with a bunch of ice and pack it all around me or something. I was just like, oh my gosh, somebody do something, cool me off. And then all of a sudden, I got deathly cold. And I was just like, okay. I'm like, I want to go and lay down on my acupressure pillow and mat for a while. But before I do that, of course, I want to use the bathroom because sometimes my bladder can get triggered. So I went, I got things set up, and while I was using the bathroom, all of a sudden I coughed some stuff up. I was just like, ugh. So I finish, get up to spit it out in the sink, and that's when it hit. And it was violent. I was coughing crud up like you would not believe, throwing it up, and draining out of my nose all at the same time. And this lasted for a good 30 minutes, at least. And I was just like, holy crap. Yeah, I just could not believe all of the crud and it was just that was just coming up, and it was clear yellow goldish color. Yeah, so it was stuff that's been in there for a while. Clear would be more recent, but with it being discoloration, fortunately nothing was green, so that's a good thing. If it's green, we go to the hospital. But seeing how it's just yellow stuff, yellow goldish sort of colors, I'm like, okay, we're okay. But still, yet there's that taste, that like old stale chemical taste. It's just permeating through it all. It was like, and it was all coming up from up here. It wasn't it wasn't anything in my stomach. It was all from in here. And I'm just, after everything was said and done, I'm just like, I am going to go and lay down on my mat and pillow. I got everything good and situated, and I really wanted to target right here because it's been really kind of pinching right here, really tense, right here in the center of my chest. And I'm just like, okay. So I really got it positioned to really dig into this part here. And the whole time, and yes, I still had some of my essential oil mixture that was still left, and those oils were getting heated, and I was smelling those oils as well as I was laying down. But what I kept really tasting and smelling was that old stale chemical whatever. And I'm like, what the heck is this? And then it hit me. It was the same as the taste smell from the breathing treatments that I had from last January. And I'm just like, could it be that's been stuck in there this whole time? I don't know. Anything's possible. What the heck? But then again, I've had, I had the steroid treatments recently, with the and I haven't been doing those since I had the incident happen a couple of weeks ago. I haven't been doing them at all. But it's very possible that with all these chemicals that I've been putting into my body for really the last year and a half, it's gotten itself settled in here. We're trying to take care of whatever is been causing the issues to begin with, and unfortunately, maybe in the process, maybe that stuff wound up getting settled in here. I don't know. I'm just making assumptions here, but this is what it tasted like to me, like old stale chemical taste, and I'm still tasting it today. Like I'm still breathing it up or whatever. Yeah, we still got a lot of smoke in the area, and we do have a storm coming through, or going to be coming through later. We're getting a lot of high winds right now from it, but yeah, it's just been interesting. These last 24, almost 24 hours, and it was funny, like I mentioned, with my messaging my friend, saying, gosh, I just want to do some of these do some chest exercises, maybe not, get all this shit out of me. And then it was weird, because then just a few hours later that happened. It was almost like, instead of me sending the message out to my friend, I sent it out to the universe, and the universe said, message received. Weird. And bleh. Well, we are in Lionsgate, and tomorrow is the Lionsgate portal. So this is a really good time to be manifesting something, to wish for things and so forth. So wish granted. I got to admit, I have been feeling a lot better. I've been, yeah, still, a little bit allergies, a little bit postnasal, but it's fresh. I can definitely tell it's fresh stuff now, instead of accumulated on top of whatever else is in here. My chest is sore, but it feels like I have been giving it a really good workout. It's more sore, like sore. I realize I've been complaining about sore muscles, but it feels different. Like I said, like I just gave my chest a really good workout or something. But haven't been coughing as much. Yeah, there's been a little bit of coughing, but like I said, we also have the wind, so it's a little bit of a tickle in my throat. My throat is definitely feeling better. I'm not feeling. I was, dealing with a lot with like a irritation right here. I don't know how else to describe, but kind of like a sore throat or whatever. But it was more of an irritation than like a sore throat that you get like when you're coming down with a cold or something. I don't know how to describe it. It was just right here, constantly right here at the base of my trachea, and it was just like, oh gosh. But I haven't been feeling that at all today, which has been awesome, because it's also caused me having issues with being able to breathe, especially deeply. I've been breathing very well the last couple of days. I've been able to breathe deeply without any hindrance, really. I mean, yeah, it can be, it's sore, like I said, but it's a different kind of sore. So yeah, it's really, it feels like nothing short of a miracle. It really, really does. And I'm attributing it to what I've been doing here lately, with finally having my memory triggered, or putting things together of, okay, thinking back to the car accident that I had 7 years ago, what sort of things that I was doing after I was released by the doctor, or doctors, I should say, and so forth. What sort of more homeopathic treatments that I was trying to do, instead of living on ibuprofen, which I'm sensitive to, doing those ibuprofen regimens, and I'm not able to do that. It's like I need to be able to work, okay? But what sort of things can I do? And that's what really triggered my memory. It was realizing that, without knowing that I was actually doing it, I was actually being back on that ibuprofen regimen that I was before. But of course, with everything that's been happening, especially over the last couple of weeks, my brain has been working properly. It's like I've been in more of a survival mode, just concentrating on trying to be able to breathe, and trying to live. I'm not talking about living my life, living the good, not that actual trying to live, trying to survive, fighting for my life, basically. That's what I've been feeling like. And then with realizing what I was actually doing with being on the ibuprofen, I'm like, ah, okay. I remembered the acupressure mat and the pillow. Let me pull those down. Let me start with that. Of course, doing the research with different yoga stretches so I could target these areas. That. And then remembering this with the back of my head, with not being able to, do any gels or anything up in there, and remembering that it's those essential oil recipes, and doing those up, and um, and massaging, just keep massaging them in, because they're basically muscle relaxants, and at the same time the aromas, well, for one thing, they're not this is very thin skin in through here, and they're not going to irritate. They don't irritate the skin, and at the same time the aromas aren't irritating my allergies. And actually, even though, I mean, smoke levels are very high today, I can definitely tell that it's not really bothering me all that much. I mean, yeah, I smell it, um, and everything, but it's not bothering me as bad. So definitely making improvements, and I have been. And I when I've had put some on, when I massaged it in, those the my essential oil mixture, when I massaged it in just before I went back to bed. I woke up, I kind of died after everything was said and done, until about 2:30 this morning, and I got up, took my insulins, ate, and went back to bed. And before I went back to bed, I took my mixture. I keep there in the bathroom and just massaged it all in. Really, really good. And I could definitely tell that the tension in here is being released. And now it's more, because it's like, it's almost as if my muscles for the last year and a half have been living like this that whole time. Real tense, and haven't really ever been able to be released. That's why, one of the reasons why I kept saying I keep feeling like I just need physical therapy. But things that I was trying to do weren't helping. If anything, they were hindering. But now, with everything that I'm doing, especially with doing the yoga stretches, the acupressure mat, because the acupressure mat gets in there, digs, and helps to release, and then with the lavender and rose essential oils, anti-inflammatories, and also muscle relaxants. Think, okay, look at it this way, especially when it comes to lavender. When you think of lavender, what do you think of? A relaxing agent. There you go. Okay. And even just taking it and whiffing it across my nose, it relaxes, it puts you in a relaxed state. And what does it do with the muscles then too? It relaxes them. And then, poof! Guess what happened yesterday? Wow. Had no idea. Didn't think of it. But let's face it, I haven't been well for the last year and a half, so it's understandable. So, actually, over a year and a half now. Yeah, December will make 2 years. Mm-hmm. That's a long time, a very long time. So, anyway, yeah, if you are going through issues, not necessarily even just with this, maybe you're having muscle joint issues. Definitely, I recommend those options. Um, I know when I bought the acupressure mat and pillow, the size of the mat, it kind of depends on which ones that you buy. The one that I bought, I mean, I'm 5'3", and it covers my whole back pretty much, almost my whole entire back, um, um, or at least all the way down to the almost the base, but just above, like, the waistline that goes around to the back there, basically. So it kind of gives you an idea with how big it is with, like the cheaper options or whatever. But they come in a set. You don't have to buy the pillow and the mats separately. They come in as a set. Okay. Um, and at least when I had bought it, 5, 6 years ago, I don't remember when it was that I had bought it. It came with a little booklet to give you like different positions. So, like for instance, if you're having issues with a part of your legs or something, then it gave you position examples to be able to help with that. And I'm sure you can find stuff up online too. Or if you're working with like a masseuse or a physical trainer or something like that, I'm sure that they or yeah, basically a physical therapist. I'm sure that they can offer suggestions as well. Just tell them what you want to do. Who knows? They may have been telling you, "Hey, maybe you should try this." Well, guess what? Now you're getting a good review. Um, so yeah, and it doesn't matter which ones that you buy. You can go with the cheap option with those. It works either way. I definitely recommend being on a hard surface if you can't. If maybe the first a few times that you do it, maybe being on a softer surface, like a carpeted floor or something like that. But I have been laying on a hard surface, basically linoleum floor, so it can really get in there, but keep that barrier, that thin barrier, some sort of thin piece of cloth, either a thin t-shirt or a thin pillowcase, something like that, to keep that in between, because those things hurt. Think pins going in. So, but yeah, definitely, um, yeah, and definitely make sure you watch yesterday's video with how to properly purchase and prepare your essential oil mixtures and everything. Don't skip those parts of the video. Okay. Also, I did do a little bit of research on the medication. If it winds up being that route that we have to wind up going down, still haven't heard from the pulmonologist office, but I'm sure it takes time. But I did do some. If we wind up having to go that route with that medication, it's something that it can be administered at the office, or if the doctor feels secure enough or whatever, something that you can do at home. You just have, of course, do it as prescribed, so on and so forth. No big deal for me, considering I'm a diabetic. I'm kind of used to it, to doing my own injections. Like, heck, why not? Let's do a third one. Party at my house. No, ain't happening. Oh my goodness. But anyway, oh my goodness. But anyway, it's something that could be either short term or long term. It just really depends on what it is that we're dealing with. If it winds up even being that. So we'll see what happens with all the testing and the results. I'm going to hold off on getting the blood work done until I see the pulmonologist, make sure he doesn't want something else also added in there. And then that way I can just go and get everything done at the same time. So instead of going and then I have to go back again, no, here vampires, have some blood. So that's what I'm gonna see about and everything. So anyway, it's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I know it's amazing. I'm feeling so much better and everything. I'm definitely, unless something else happens, I'm definitely going to be hitting the streets again tonight. I'm actually looking forward to it, especially if we have storms coming. Ooh, you know me. I'm a weather bug. I love it. Love, love, love. But and I don't mind the flooding. It's like that don't bother me. And it's like, you know what? There's saying in this state, turn around, don't drown. Hello, idiots. But anyway. Oh, it doesn't look that deep. If you see flooding, turn around. Guess what? It probably is a lot deeper than what you think it is. Anyway. So, yeah, like I said, this is where I'm at right now. Feeling a lot better. Do feel a little bit weak, but I'm sure after I eat some food, and yeah, my sugars have been a little bit high. Yeah, they were really high yesterday morning, understandably. And then when everything happened, whew, yeah, I definitely flew. Understandable, I didn't, it's nothing to freak out about or anything because everything affects your diabetes, especially infections. So if you're fighting an infection, hello, your sugars are going to be going sky high. A little bit on the high side this morning, not that bad, but and it'll take a couple days to get it straightened back around. But it's not too bad. It isn't like I'm um, setting off the alarms or anything. So um, but yeah, it'll just take a little bit of extra insulin. And another reason why I want to go back to work so soon too is the movement will also help straighten the sugars around. And I didn't do my yoga yesterday, but I'm definitely going to do it after I get done with this video. So, um, but anyway, yeah, I know. Ah, wish granted. Love this year's Lionsgate. It's awesome. Yeah, it's great. I love it. So, anyway, I can't think of anything else that's going on. So, but yeah, this has been an experience. So, I hope that this video helps somebody, helps to inspire them, especially if you're going through difficulties like myself and everything. Keep fighting the good fight, folks. Keep fighting the good fight. Just stay in the moment. That's the important thing. Stay in the moment. Don't worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow may never even come. And at the same time, what's the point? You can't control it, so why worry about it? Just focus on right now. Enjoy this moment. Even if this moment is difficult or whatever, if anything, it's giving you strength for the next moment. Something to think about. All right. I love you all. I'll talk to you all soon.